Hello everybody, welcome to round number 2 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. I'm Chaz Draycott.
I'm Louise Schofield, and the weather is holding out for us here. I think it's going to be a great race 3, isn't it? I'm looking forward to this.
It absolutely will be, yeah. It's certainly scorching down here on the circuit today. Feels like today's been a lot longer actually than we had yesterday, doesn't it? It's strange to think we're only just getting to the first race of the day.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we had a few delays at the start, didn't we? It was a little bit of a slow start today, but I think we're getting back on track now as well, aren't we? So, hey, there we go.
Now we're back on track.
Plane is coming over. You've been dying to see that all weekend, haven't you? Your little face just lit up then, didn't
I have
it?
so much, yeah. For the last few years, I've been commentating on this event from home, not being here on site, and this air display always goes on over the course of the weekend. It's so cool to see it in person. I've just got goosebumps. The atmosphere, though, of this whole event, it really is awesome, isn't it?
It is, and I love how each racetrack is different as well, and they have a different opening, so it's keeping us on our toes, and I think that's really nice. I don't know what to expect. I'm like, wow, there's a plane just doing a few flips in the sky there. That's lovely.
It's very, very cool. We just had Jochen Hahn playing another one of his tricks here, actually. As he pulled up to the grid, he got very close to the back of us, just playing another one of his tricks, as he so often does. But it's part of the fun. That is, I tell you, I've been to a number of air shows in my life, and I've never had an air display that close to what we call a crowd line.
Yes.
So all air displays are done with a crowd line in mind. They can't go any closer to the audience than that. So along the barriers here will be what's considered a crowd line, and he cannot go closer and directly over the top of us like that. But that is the closest I've ever seen an air display. That is very impressive. It's really cool. Yeah, as mentioned though, Jochen playing tricks as ever. He's definitely an integral part of the One Truck family that we have here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. One Truck Family is the name of the documentary that came out just earlier this year. You can watch it on YouTube, and we've got a lovely little trailer for you to have a look at right now. Great to be back once again here for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. The amount of times when I've been in an airport and you get chatting to somebody, a lot of them instantly go, wow, truck racing is a thing. You know, they're over 5 tons, 1,200 horsepower, 6,000 newton meters of torque. They're numbers that you don't see anywhere else in the motorsport world.
What would you consider as a wish to win the next championship?
I think we're to win the championship, okay. We are pushing as much as we can to go as fast as possible. Obviously, there's one guy in red, which is a step ahead of everyone else.
In the past 15 years, track racing became my life.
120 points. Epic stuff once again from Norbert Kisch and Rivage Racing. Nobody can seemingly stop them at the moment.
Guck dir Nobby an, dann weißt du genau, was ein Champion mitbringen muss.
Can anybody stop Norby doing triple Grand Slams? I mean, probably not. Albacetti goes through. He goes back in front of Norbert Kisch. It's not often we see anybody overtake Norby. Wow.
Wie funktioniert überhaupt die Zusammenarbeit zwischen euren beiden Teams?
Da habe ich jetzt eigentlich keinen Kommentar dafür, oder? Hast du eine neue Frage?
And that is the One Truck Family documentary that you can catch now live on YouTube. It is fantastic fun to watch, and it really does tell the story of the championship, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And you got your big debut there, didn't you? You've got a nice little prominent part in that, haven't you? A
little bit, yeah.
Hey.
I would tell you, that's amazing.
It's incredible when you're stood right here. It's so loud, but it's so cool.
It's right over the start-finish line. It's amazing. But yeah, in that it's quite funny. I mean, that studio, that was just me stood in my studio at home. It really didn't look as pretty behind the scenes as it does in that broadcast. Speaking of something not quite looking as pretty as you'd expect, we're going to have a look over here at the front of Antonio Albacetti's machine, and you can see that there's something quite off about the letter M in this MAN logo. These are what we call drift stitches in a lot of different forms of motorsport. You can see that the fiberglass has been shredded here. So a big piece of Norbert Kisch's truck came off yesterday in the afternoon. It was a piece from down here on the bumper. The connecting piece at the bottom came away after the contact that he'd had during the race. It came through here like a spear and punctured through the front of Tim's truck. Tim was not too pleased about it. In fact, he's over here.
Here he is.
He loves an interview, does Tim? How are you?
Are you laughing at my grill?
I might be laughing at your grill, yeah. We were just explaining that it came through like a spear spear in that race, didn't it?
Oh yeah, we got onboard, and it like shot through the grill. Obviously, did a load of damage. But on the onboard, the whole dash raised from the like positive pressure that was caused, and all like the dust from when we built it came out, and it just got covered. He was like, "Something's exploded! Something's exploded!" I was like, "Oh, just keep going, be right."
Be right. That's very northern, isn't it? Just quickly, obviously, you must be feeling quite confident. I know that a penalty is shaking up the grid a little bit, but right near the front still, you must be happy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know, with the new truck, we always struggle here a little bit just because of the tyre temperature management. So we're trying to make a best of an average situation. Hats off to Rodriguez for getting P3. Okay, he got a penalty, but he's coming along. Antonio's cracking on, and Bradley Smith, he's got to be the shocker this year. So he's doing really well. So his first time in one of our trucks. So it's cracking on, and we're just trying to like keep his spirits up when he has bad times. But yeah, we'll keep going.
I was going to say, you've got quite good ties to a number of drivers near the front of the order now. Obviously, Antonio is Jose Eduardo's mentor, and now you've got one of your old trucks right with you on the grid as well. It must be quite rewarding to see that sort of growing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, I'm here because I love truck racing, so it's like it's nice to see like other people enjoying it, and we try and like sell the old trucks on just to keep the budgets ticking over, but like I don't sell it to everyone, you know what I mean? So we try and sell it to the good guys.
Fair play, mate. Well, thank you very much for your time, Tim, and have a good day.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Tim's an absolute superstar, and he's
Absolutely
always
love
up for a good
I
chat.
was watching them actually spray paint the black onto that in the pit lane earlier, and I could smell it coming through, and I was like wondering what had gone on. So there we go.
We've had it explained.
We love a bit of DIY, don't we?
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh god, that's one of the best things. Though sometimes you do see it, and they've done that ironically to just make it look like an M. It's just literally tape, but it's just part of the fun. Like, it's part of the fun of it.
I like
it's
it.
absolutely brilliant. You will have heard there as well, the eagle-eared of you, I suppose that's a phrase, will have heard that Tim mentioned Jose Eduardo Rodriguez getting a penalty. Normally, he would be over there where Sasha Lenz is, third on the grid after his best qualifying session ever. However, during the warm-up session this morning, Jose Eduardo was overspeeding during the red flag, and then he also overtook Antonio Albacete in the red flag situation as well. So, unfortunately, he's had 2 5-place grid penalties, which has put him way down to 13th. That's a bittersweet qualifying.
Absolutely, yeah. I wonder how he's feeling right now because I bet it can all turn around though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those. He's towards the back, but see how he can catch up some time, eh?
Yeah, he is quick, and we've always seen him be an exciting driver. He's not scared to make moves. He's not scared to have a go. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see him come through.
Yeah, absolutely. You're irrelevant, aren't you? You're absolutely loving this right now.
I'm enjoying myself
You've been
so
waiting
much.
to see it all weekend. He's been like, it's time. It's
4
absolutely
years.
time.
4 years I've commentated on the circuit from home.
And as you can see, it's getting quite busy here on the grid right now. Everyone is getting into their favourite trucks and having a little look around, aren't they? And seeing what's going on and having a little bit of a chat, which is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. Really There's a lot of people about here on the grid, and everybody is really enjoying themselves. There's a massive amount of people. It's interesting because you see the grid walks. Oh, that's cool. That's what they call a knife edge pass, where they tilt the aircraft to one way and they kick the rudder in so it goes slightly sideways. I mean, you can see just how many people there are on the grid here. There's so many people about. Let's take a walk down the middle, shall we? It's safer for our cameraman, Pearly.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go nice and slowly and just enjoy the view of all these people around us. We can see Tony Smith over there. I was just trying to catch his eye. There's a number of people. I'm in a fortunate situation where I know a lot of these people quite well.
You're relevant.
So we'll see if we can get him. Yeah, you can see him coming over. Here we go. He loves an interview. How are you, mate? You good? You're good?
Thank you. You all right?
Yeah, very good. Just enjoying being in my element, watching trucks and planes at the same time.
Isn't he? I wouldn't want to be in there with him, that's for sure.
I nearly got motion sickness in your truck on Friday. I think I would up there.
Enjoyed it.
Oh, it was amazing, mate. Absolutely. You must be enjoying it so far, though. Obviously, with the technical issues at the start of the weekend, now Bradley must be feeling mint.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally, I don't know. Within 5 minutes of getting out in qualifying, we thought we were going to have to just try and get him out for one lap so he could qualify, but he got out and he pulled it off, so it was really lucky.
It's a difficult circuit, this, though, isn't it, to make sure that everything's dialed in, because there's so many long corners that are very smooth. There's a lot of adjustment needed.
Yeah, I mean, Bradley's struggling with 1 or 2 corners on the infill, but he's as quick as anyone on the other bit, so he just needs to dial himself in on them couple of corners and he'll put a quick lap in. So, amazing. Well pleased with him.
Good. And obviously, we just spoke to Tim Frost a moment ago, and we were saying about how rewarding it must be as part of the One Truck family, because he's now got one of his old trucks on the grid. His driver is the mentor of Jose Eduardo. It really is. I think Bradley's story highlights the whole One Truck family mantra, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, Antonio's been helping Bradley with a bit of data, and I was finding that Bradley was quicker in some bits and Antonio was quicker in other bits, so between the pair of them they can work it out together. So it's amazing for Bradley to get a leg up like that, so.
I did wonder what that megaphone was for. That's a really annoying noise, isn't it?
Yeah.
They like their whistles and things here, don't they? Anyway, we've all got to get off the grid in just a moment, mate, but thank you very much for taking the time.
All right, see you soon.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Okie dokie. We have
time with the truck ride. Absolutely, I want to go in again.
Hopefully the next round of the championship. We are at the Nürburgring next time, but it's in 5 weeks.
I know. I'm gonna miss being here, to be honest. It feels like a long time.
It is going to be a long time.
We are starting to get ushered off, aren't we? Everyone seems to be coming through right now.
Yeah, everyone's getting ushered off the grid with the sort of fan and VIPs grid walk being over. You can see them all now making all their way down. It's quite a shame, really. If one of your favourite drivers is at the back of the grid, you spend most of the time
walking. You've got to just run yourself down, haven't you? Just wait for me.
Spend most of your time walking down there just to get told to go back the other way again.
That's exactly it. Hopefully you got some great photos if you were on the grid.
Yes.
Hopefully you got some nice photos. Everyone's getting in the stands ready to watch as well.
Yeah, the grandstand is packing up there.
It's absolutely
fantastic.
Everyone's going to be getting ready, and there's a lovely little VIP section I think up here as well, isn't there? So it's nice.
We took advantage of that, didn't we?
Yeah, no, we did. Had a nice view of it all, which is really nice.
I'm going to get one of them megaphones for my cat.
I think you should. I think we should have that just going through.
When he's been a pain in my backside.
Every time we've arrived.
When I get, you know what? When I get off the plane in the airport, I'm going to have one of them and just hold it above me.
Just you arrived, yeah.
But no.
the Chaz Draycott drone, drone noise.
That's when I open my mouth.
That's it. I'll be in the commentator box a little bit later on.
Yeah, I'll be there very shortly. But yeah, it's interesting that now there's a bit more wind. We've spoken all weekend about how flat it is here at the Slovakia ring and how not windy it's been. And now all of a sudden we've got this massive breeze here, haven't we?
And does that affect them anyway when there's a little bit of wind? Can that affect?
When it's sort of coming this way across the start-finish straight at the moment, so it's maybe not going to affect them too much. I think the main thing they need to worry about is when it's behind them either as a tailwind or in front of them as a headwind, because, I mean, these things, you can see the height of them. They're not the most aerodynamic things in the world. Underneath, they are very aerodynamic, but if you're getting a headwind on something that's nearly 9 feet tall, maybe a bit taller, it's certainly going to mean that
rattle the boat a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, and you have to obviously think about they're not allowed to exceed 100 miles an hour or 160 Ks. So they have to be very careful on throttle application because they are capable of going over that. It's not an electronic limiter that keeps them there. Yeah. They have to manually do that themselves.
Yeah.
So if you get a tailwind, you're easily going to exceed it, which is probably the lesser ideal of a headwind or a tailwind.
That's it.
But then if you've got a headwind, you have to put the throttle on that little bit more, keep the boost up and keep the pressure on. So it's tough when it's a headwind or a tailwind, but I think today coming across the circuit, as the track goes back on itself, mainly away from the wind, they'll be all right.
Absolutely, yeah. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it doesn't get too turbulent out there. But we'll see how we get on, won't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everyone's getting ready to start soon, aren't we?
It's just suddenly gone really quiet.
It has gone really quiet. I mean, it shows how lovely the community is when it all comes together and how exciting it is when there's so many people around.
But then all of a sudden it just drops.
And then it'll get loud again in a minute when the trucks start going. I'll tell you that for something. So it's
absolutely.
Nice.
Another thing to think about with the wind as well is there's a lot of cloud over there, and being here in such a flat area means that it can very quickly change weather like that. Last year, very famously, there was a massive downpour before the first race of the weekend, and there was literally a few millimetres of standing water all the way down the start-finish straight everywhere. So you have to really be careful about the fact that the weather can change so quickly.
Absolutely, and I bet that's interesting with all the water coming up as well and going over. So that must be,
it's not ideal.
Not ideal. So that we're not going to jinx it too much. We're going to hopefully just see the heavens don't open for us and it does start raining.
We've had the sun cream on all weekend, and we've been doing our best to make sure that we don't get sunburn, because while it is now very windy, it's absolutely belting hot.
It is absolutely belting. But I think it's a nice weekend away for people as well. If you've travelled from far, I think it's lovely little weekend away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great place.
To experience it.
What we will be doing in just a moment is throwing to a clip where we had a look round back at Misano.
Yes,
we had a lovely chat with a man that's got more airtime than me this year.
Franz is loving it. I think Franz might be our third presenter soon.
Maybe.
I think should we recruit Franz as the third presenter, maybe?
Yeah, potentially.
He's
We'll have to go and
absolutely
have a quick chat with him. I tell you what. Speaking of having a chat, actually, why don't you have a quick chinwag with Sasha?
Have a quick chinwag with Sasha, see how he's feeling.
If not, I'll ask Jane how she is.
There we go. Sasha, how are you feeling?
I feel it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sit relaxed.
You relaxed, yeah?
So now we drive a race.
There we go. Come on, there we are. You going to watch out for anyone? Who are you watching out for?
What?
You going to watch out for anyone while you're going out there?
I hope I have a good start.
Yeah.
I have no problems the first 2-3 laps, and then we will see what we have on the end.
Best of luck. There we go. We're going to get started soon. Thank you very much. There we go. Here we are. There we are. We're getting ready for it. Everyone's
getting geared up now.
Getting geared up. Oh, we've got a 5-minute sign going on as well.
Yeah, 5-minute board is out. So any moment now, it will all roar into life. The last few personnel. So there's a number of different procedures that we have. We have a 10-minute board, 5-minute board, 3, and then 1. And each one signifies different people that need to be off the grid. So the 10-minute board means that all the VIPs and all the public and all of the fans and spectators, they need to make their way off the grid. 5-minute board is basically a warning that the drivers need to get ready. Then we'll have 3-minute boards, which means that the personnel, the FIA, us, need to get off the grid as well. And then the 1-minute board is the final marshals make their way off the grid, and that's that. And then they crack on, and the job will begin. The race will begin.
There we go. The job or the race. I mean, hey, it's
bit of both. Depends where we're at.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of it's either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
I believe we have a Mr. Rivesh on the grid. Actually, he's just walked past us. I don't think he'll be doing an interview because I don't think he speaks English. But Mr. Rivesh in the white shirt there is the man behind Rivesh and Rivesh Racing. So it's great to see him actually on the grid. It's an absolute joy. He's the man behind all of the team and everything. There he is.
We have spoken
in the white shirt.
There we go.
He's certainly having a good day, enjoying the sunshine.
There we go. And then we were just saying about how many people are behind each team, isn't it? I think that's what's so lovely about it. And you can just see it just before even we're about to start. You see everyone rallying around, which is really, really lovely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good start. I think it's going to be nice. But the inside these trucks are really, really interesting, and there's so many different bits that go in between them, isn't there? It's so I think to get an insight into it was amazing. We managed to get that back in Misano last weekend, which was brilliant. We actually have a little clip now. If you've ever wondered what it's like inside the truck, check this out.
I'm here with Franz, the technical delegate of the FIA. Franz, great to see you for another season of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Just to put a bit of technical emphasis on these wonderful machines that we have racing on the circuit this year, what could you tell us about what makes these trucks different to a truck you would see on a motorway or a road-going truck?
Yeah, well, just happy to be here as well for another season. These trucks are actually purpose-built race trucks, but they are coming from the road legal truck. So cab, chassis rails, engine, axles, brakes have to come from a road legal truck. They need to be redesigned. Obviously, they can be altered to obviously accommodate the racing purpose. But if you just look at the inside of this truck, you can obviously spot the difference to a normal road legal truck. You can see this is a proper racing vehicle, purpose-built, roll cage, a lot of electronics. It's just a proper racing machine. In technology-wise, these chassis have a subframe as well to make them stiffer, because you need a racing vehicle to be stiff. It can't be flexible like a normal road truck. Engine, the position of the engine is altered as well a little bit, to work with the center of gravity. So definitely purpose-built.
And David, coming to you, great to see you. Obviously, it's an industry that moves very quickly as well on the road and on highways, but obviously in motorsport as well, they need to continue moving forward. What is it like from your perspective trying to spearhead that sort of push forward in development?
Well, we're trying to balance what the championship can handle as far as the teams are a lot of family teams, so we can't expect, we don't want them to spend too much money on new trucks. So we're pushing the development mainly on safety items, and we're also on road relevance and sustainability, because the European regulations are going in this direction, so we have to go in the same directions to stay relevant to the current.
And sustainability isn't just about fuel, is it, as well? Obviously, there's a number of other components that can be considered sustainable, which obviously mixes in with the ethos of the championship.
Absolutely. Obviously, we think of fuel. We have the HVO fuel, so that's totally sustainable. Goodyear, our partner, has done a lot of work on the tires to make them sustainable. So we have a lot of items that we'd like to take from the road to make, again, trucks more sustainable for the long term.
Well, it's a fantastic bit of kit. Thank you very much for giving us your time today, both of you. And we hope you enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Welcome to the third race of the weekend. However, the first race of the day here from the Slovakia ring. Chaz Draycott in the commentary box. Excited for this one after enjoying the sunshine on the grid. It was very, very beautiful down there, but now there's a bit more of a breeze. It's what we expected for somewhere of this nature. It's a very flat part of the world here in Slovakia, but it's beautiful to be here for the first time. And as you can see at the front of our field, we have the official pace truck of the series, the Iveco SE-Way, a 100% electric pace truck. And it is a beautiful looking machine, very, very well presented. And it's been driven very safely by one of the members of the Iveco team. I believe it might still be Nico that drives it these days. I've just had the thumbs up here, thank you. And here is our grid for the first race of the day. Once again, we have Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn on the front row of the grid. Norby doing a great job in qualifying, nearly half a second clear of the rest of the field, over half a second clear, in fact, of Jochen Hahn. Then it was Sasha Lenz in third place. Antonio Albacete will start in fourth position. In fact, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez qualified third, but he's got penalties. We'll explain in a little bit to those of you just joining us. Bradley Smith starts in fifth place. He's having a very confidence-building weekend so far. He's ahead of Steffi Halm. Then we have John Newell and Mark Taylor, the two British drivers, starting on the fourth row. The two of them joined us in the championship a couple of years ago and have been enjoying it ever since. Same with Luke Garrett and Louis Requenco, who's been part of the furniture here in the series for a number of years now, and with this new Mercedes this season, he's excited to see what he can do with it. Stefan Fass will start in 11th position. Alongside him, we will see Clemens Hecker in the number 25 Scania. And then the back row of the grid, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and René Reinert, both of them having a bit of a trying morning here on Sunday. But just to explain, during the warm-up session that we had this morning, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was overspeeding slightly in red flag conditions, and then he was overtaking Antonio Albacete during the red flag conditions as well. So unfortunately, he's had 2 5-place grid penalties. This is the track map. The Slovakia ring is one of the longest circuit we go to in the championship, nearly 6 kilometres in length with just 14 corners, though you'd expect a circuit of that length to have more corners, but they are such huge radius hairpins and sweeps this way and that way that it is quite the treat. And it's very difficult on these trucks as well. The front tyres really do get abused around here in these races. They properly lean on those front corners. And as you saw on the graphic there, it's 27 degrees Celsius air temperature at the moment, so it is mighty, mighty warm out there. Very different heat to what we had at Misano just last week. Strange how it's so different one place to another. But last time out it was very muggy heat in the previous one, so it was very sticky, it was very moist heat, but here it's a lot drier. But over the crest of the hill comes the Iveco SE-Way pace truck. Don't forget that during this race, this will be the last opportunity for our panel to select their 3 drivers for the Goodyear Wingfoot Award. And during the 4th and final race of the weekend, all of you wonderful fans back at home will be able to vote on the 3 drivers via the series Instagram page. And you'll be able to put your votes in to see who will be winning the Goodyear Wingfoot Award, the second one in the 2026 season. It's been quite a mixed weekend, though. I mean, I try and keep an eye on things and try and figure out who they might go for, but with such an upside-down weekend for some drivers where they've had a really successful race and then not such a good one, it's really difficult to know where the 3 drivers will be selected from at the minute. as you can see now, we have a full complement of 14 trucks that are here this weekend, all on track together for this third and penultimate race of the weekend. And now the pace truck makes its way in, and the trucks will spread out to where the grid boxes are, grid slots on the start-finish straight. Almost like karting tram lines, they will go side by side in formation. They've just come past the commentary box window, and for the third time this weekend we're underway in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. A good initial launch by Jochen Hahn means he can move over to the right hand side and block off Norbert Kiss trying to open up this first corner. Steffi Halmer's gone well from 6th on the grid on the left-hand side. Mark Taylor and John Newell completely together as they head down towards turn 1 for the first time. The line is favoured on the inside, and that is Norbert Kirsch's line through there. He will hold on to the lead. Can anybody do anything about him through turns 2 and 3? Clemens Hecker trying to gain ground at the back of the order. Looks like René Reinert might not have gone through, actually. He seems to have come back into the pit lane. He's not at the back of shot there. That might have something to do with it. We missed the shot of it, but yes, road. Both of them in the gravel. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez able to make his way back out of it, but René Reinert in the gravel at the back of the pack there. The two of them making contact clearly at the tail end of the order, and that may be at least a yellow flag. Well, it will be a yellow flag because there's a truck stop there, but I'm not sure if they'll continue on as Louis Requenco goes for a little excursion off on the grass on the left-hand side on the exit of turn 3. Wow, it is a busy start to this third race of the weekend. But unfortunately, René's race may be done in the gravel there unless he's able to push it out. These trucks have enormous amounts of torque and power, so they can very often push themselves out of a gravel trap like that. We saw Bradley Smith do it earlier in the weekend with qualifying. And there you go, there is the decision. Race has been red flagged. So René's truck was considered in a position that was dangerous. They couldn't just cover that with a yellow flag throughout the entire race. So now the extraction process will begin as the MAN is pulled out of the gravel. And as you can see, he is beached on the outside. Looks like some damage to the front left. René swings the door open, and after all the hard work that the team had put in to get the engine changed, he may be a bit disappointed in that, to say the least. He's going to have a look round, see what the damage is. He's going to inspect it. It's not the body language of a particularly happy gentleman. Look at that right rear wheel. It did look like there was damage to the right rear. The tyre doesn't seem to have gone down, but the rim itself has obviously had a big old hit, and maybe it won't move because of that side piece of bodywork. René doing his best to get it moving, and let me tell you, when you stood in a gravel trap that's that deep, that's not easy to do and gain traction underfoot. But that is why it would not get moving again. So it's almost half and half on the runoff area. You can see the green painted runoff area. I think he's going to try and get it moving again. I'm not sure if that would be advised by the marshals, but he's going to give it a go. Maybe we'll find out in the not too distant future. And there is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's truck, and considering that René Reinert has damage on the right rear and Jose Eduardo has damage on the front left, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure out what has happened there, I don't think. I've just been commended by my director for for picking that out. Seems like I might have to start a secondary career as a detective or something like that instead of a commentator. But fair play to René. Yeah, Inspector Chaz, I've just been told by Michelle, the director in my ear. Now I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that. But now René's driven off, so we'll just go green again, yeah? It's as simple as that, right? But you can see the right rear tyre hasn't actually gone down as well. The right rear wheel is in about 12 pieces, but the tyre, hats off to Goodyear for making such a sturdy tyre. The tyre's actually stayed solid around the outside of it. There's a good message for the branding. That's a good corporate message. And you can see, there's a great example actually. We don't often get to do this, but there's a great example of the size of these racing trucks. Look at the little Hyundai that was parked next to it there from the circuit here at the Slovakia ring compared to the massive truck. Now you may think this is strange what they're doing here. They're sitting just before the pit lane entry. So when there's a red flag situation, the drivers are asked to sit there just in case they're either told to go through the pit lane or into the pit lane for whatever reason, rather than continuing back onto the circuit for another lap. So Norbert Kish has stopped them before the commitment line there on the way into the pit lane, and he will then await further instruction. I've been told we're going to have the same starting grid as before. Hopefully there won't be... now that might be a bit of a problem. Did you all see that there at the back of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's truck? It had decided to put a lot of fluid down on the circuit. I mean, I don't think the truck had decided. Maybe something else has caused that, but there was a lot of fluid pouring out the back of the truck there, and I hope that that will not put a further delay on things here, because if that has been dragged all the way around the circuit leaking like that, then that will make it rather treacherous, especially if it's a sort of fluid that you can't see much reflection from. Sometimes when you see coolant or oil going down on a circuit, from a driver's perspective, you can see when there is liquid on the track. So we'll see what the situation is. Jose Eduardo, I imagine, will come into the pit lane, and if Rene wants to go around the outside of him, hopefully they just won't make contact again. But it's been a bit of a scarring day there for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, unfortunately, having a great qualifying earlier on this morning. 2 penalties and now contact that has caused a red flag. Rene Reinert coming into the pits. Again though, I was amazed that the tyre held up on the outside of the rim. Usually if you see damage like that, it's almost guaranteed that the tyre would have been cut and shredded underneath it as well. Just seeing Luke Garrett out of my window pull up to the grid, and there's a massive amount of dust on the front of the truck on the grille. Same with Stefan Faas as well. A number of the trucks have really sort of intaked, is that the word? Taken in a lot of dust in these early moments. Louis Requenco's truck still looking pretty clean. I imagine some of the drivers from further down the order have all had a big moment. I can see, I call him the boss man, I can see Franz Steilberg making his way down the grid to go and check on Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and his truck. Now looking at the windscreen as well, the structural integrity of the windscreen is being checked. I'm not sure if the front left tyre is down. There's bodywork hanging off the front left, but that'll be looked at, of course. This is all in the interest of safety, and he will get the nod whether he can continue or not. They're having a quick chat with him now. Franz has opened the door. I'm commentating on this from out the window, so apologies if this doesn't match the pictures you're seeing, but I wanted to give you whatever information I can on the situation. Looks like Franz is having a look round. The 10-minute board has been brought back out. That may be expedited if there is any change or sudden decision, so we'll keep you updated on that as best we can. Franz is already making his way back into the pit lane. I see. He's just made a hand signal that to me says go back to the paddock, to Jose Rodriguez, Jose Eduardo's father, and I can tell you Jose Eduardo is now reversing. Yeah, the front left tyre is going down. It's getting more and more flat the more I look at it, so it's obviously not safe for him to continue with that. We've seen trucks continue on in the race before when one of the outside rear tyres has gone down, because it doesn't affect the traction, it doesn't affect the ability of the truck too much. I mean, look back at the performance from Norbert Kish back at Misano. He was able to hold off fellow Titan drivers with just 5 tyres on the truck. But when it's one of the front tyres, not quite the same kettle of fish, as we say. And this footage isn't in rewind. This is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez reversing down to the end of the pit lane so he can make his way through into the paddock. I think Jose Rodriguez is hoping for a bit more of an explanation from the official. He's just gone over to ask Franz what the situation is. I think he's just going to try and pass on the message at least, because from inside the truck, of course, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez can't see what the damage is. He has to just try and drive the thing back around and keep it as clean as possible. And there's a lot of onlookers here having a chat about the situation. I think the message is now being passed on. So unfortunately, it looks like we've lost 2 trucks from this race already. And that contact down at turn 1. It would have been Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on the inside line. If he was 13th on the grid, he'd have been on the right-hand side of the grid. René Reinert would have been on the left. And there is Jose Rodriguez making his way into the pit lane. It was lovely to see him and Jose Eduardo sharing the circuit together a couple of seasons ago. It was great to see father and son racing alongside one another. But now we have another little bit of calm before the storm, as we say. There's some little briefings going on. I can see Louis Requenco's squad down here, just in front of us, having a bit of a chat on the pit wall. There is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez making his way into the pit lane, having to be very careful. You can see how much the truck is leaning over to the left with that front left tyre now completely flat. And he will head into the paddock. And hopefully his second race of the day can go much more smoothly. It's not been the start of the day he would have wanted, but importantly for the championship, you score more points in the first race than you do in the second race. We have a different point system based on whether it's race 1 or races 1 and 3 instead of races 2 and 4. If you take a victory in the first or third race of the weekend, you'll net yourself 20 championship points. Then it's 15 and 12 for the remaining podiums. But in races 2 and 4, it's just 1 point per position, basically. So if you finish first, you get 10 points, and then it's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for the rest of the top 10. Norby's waving at the drone there. It's great to see the drone flying around the circuit, actually. It's been spotted by a lot of people this weekend. He's having a quick chat with Chababacco. It's good to see that Norby isn't deterred by the red flag here, and he's still enjoying himself out there, able to at least give us a wave back at home. He's got a lot of fans here this weekend. That's fantastic. And that'll be a wave for them. Anybody that wasn't able to make it here to the Slovakia ring this weekend as well, I'm sure, will be watching on, wishing Norby all the best. He's got such a massive fan base. And it is always great to see how many of them make the trip over here to Slovakia to support him here. But now it's only really the minimal amount of crew that can go onto the circuit. I believe they're only allowed 1 engineer on the track at this time. I remember when there was a red flag at Misano, I believe last season actually, we had this amazing shot of Tim Frost perched and ready to go on the pit wall with just some of the most basic tools, hoping to fix Antonio Albasetti's truck. And as soon as they got told they could go on the grid, he leapt into action like the superhero that he is, even if he is Northern. And it was a wonderful, wonderful sight. There's a beautiful shot there of the Iveco S E-Way, again, the official pace truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. As mentioned a couple of times already this weekend, I love this new front-end design on this new S E-Way. You can see, just for a moment there, how different it is to the current iteration of S-Ways that we have on the truck racing grid. A lot of the time, much like with Louis Requenco's Mercedes, the racing trucks and their visuals will adapt to look like the road-going versions that they're based on. And I'm excited to see just how aggressive the new S-Ways look, that I'm sure will be spotted first under the control of the likes of Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm and Lucas Hahn. This is a good look round it there. You can see just how immaculate this particular example is as well. A very, very new truck. Definitely looks the part. And as you could see at the top of the screen for just a moment there, the incident between trucks 77, which is René Reinert, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, has been reported to the stewards. So they will be looking at that, whether they need to take any action, whether anybody is deemed at fault, whether it's just a racing incident. In fact, René Reinert is just driving past our commentary box here. A lot of damage on the right rear. A lot of the bodywork hanging off. There he is. Looks like the front left has taken a bit of a knock as well. You can see that right rear bodywork is missing. The arches do tend to pop off and come away. But I'm intrigued whether he's going to continue on in this race. You know, if the tyre hasn't gone down, that right rear tyre definitely is not down. Whether he'll be able to continue, I'm not sure if the technical delegates will have to have had a look at it to ensure whether he's able to continue. And it looks like he's going to start this race from the pit lane. At the end of the day, even if the right rear rim is damaged, as long as it's not cutting into the tyre, then it's of no risk of setting that tyre down. Then why not? It does look like, yeah, he's sat at the end of the pit lane ready to go. Fantastic. Well, if you ever needed a sign of how resilient these racing trucks are, there is your sign. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has now just gone past. I wonder whether... Yeah, he's got a new front left on that truck. He's been back into the paddock. They've managed to... I was going to say bolt the bodywork back on, but it's probably zip ties. Let's face it. They've fixed that bodywork on the front left. The windscreen is cracked, but obviously not in any form of risk, let's say. It's not going to fall apart or anything. We can see the FIA officials pressing on the windscreen with their hands to make sure that it wasn't just held in place really lightly and the forces of racing would dislodge it. So it seems like it's okay. A very interesting turn of events here to start the day. Now all of the personnel are making their way off the grid. So, well, I mentioned before that it's a shame to lose 2 trucks from the race, but due to the fantastic mechanics and engineers that these teams have, we're able to have both of them back on track for this race. That's great to see. Now the two of them will have to battle together at the tail end of the order again, and obviously that doesn't affect the grid very much because they were the 2 trucks that started right at the back. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez starting 13th, René Reinert starting in 14th place. So the two of them, I imagine, will just peel on to the circuit once the formation lap begins, and they will sit at the back of the grid. I think we'll have just 25 seconds or so before we get moving once more. But everybody is now off the grid except for the green flag official at the back. He will give everyone the all clear from the back of the grid to say it's safe to get going. And then we can try this again. Take 2 in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Race 3.2 of the weekend, we could call it. You can see just the massive amount of heat haze making its way across the start-finish straight here. Looks like a scene from Mos Eisley out of Star Wars, doesn't it? Just this vast landscape of hot tarmac. But I can tell you as well, from being on the grid, it's not just an effect of the camera that. You can see it with the naked eye as well. It's such a long start-finish straight here, so wide as well. It's definitely one of the most unique circuits on the calendar, and it's a joy to come racing here every year. We never know what to expect, whether it's rain or shine, whether it's red flags, or sometimes races that they just seem to be over in a flash. We get it all here. And right now, the trucks are getting moving. The green flag is flown at the front. And I imagine we're going to have a very tasty drone shot in just a moment. I've just seen the drone making its way down the grid. But as they make their way down the start-finish straight, it is once again the Iveco SE-Way, the official pace truck, leading us down to turn 1. Just keep your eye on the big blue MAN on the right-hand side of your screen to see whether they make their way onto the circuit now or whether it will be that they join the race from the pit lane. There is the graphic confirming the official pace truck. Iveco, one of the major partners of the championship. Always a joy to have them with us. Iveco being one of the main players in the global transport sector. It's fantastic to have such a big name join us here in truck racing. They've provided our official pace trucks for at least 6 years now, since I started anyway. I've been talking about the Iveco S-Ways and now the SE-Way. We've had bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Ways as well. They cover all corner of the markets with these wonderful machines. And I can tell you as well, from being a passenger in the Iveco S-Way sometimes with some of the familiarisation laps, it is a very, very potent bit of kit, that is for sure. There is René Reinert and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez at the back of the grid then, so they have been allowed to reform on the grid, and now they will join us from the very start, so they don't have any sort of penalty by starting in the pit lane once the drivers have gone through. As soon as the race gets underway, they're back on a level playing field. Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn then will reform the front row, then behind them we can see Sasha Lenz and Antonio Albacete. I love this drone shot. It's like something out of a racing game, isn't it, where you get the chase cameras that follow along. Bradley Smith in 5th position, Steffi Halm
in 6th place. Both of them hoping to wait in the wings here and pick up a podium if there's big battles in front of them. Same goes for John Newell and Mark Taylor as well. The pair of them wanting more chrome podiums over the course of this weekend. They are the 2 top drivers in the Chrome Championship at this present moment. Then we have Luke Garrett alongside Louis Riquenco, both of them happy to be inside the top 10 after qualifying earlier today. Stefan Faas will start in 11th position alongside Clemens Hecker. He and the team have told us that it's basically a live test for them this weekend with this new truck, Alva as it's known. And then it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Rene Reiner, hoping not to come together again. I'm sure they'll be giving each other a wide berth round turn 1 this time round. And hopefully we get a clean start and a clean run through this 3rd race of the weekend and the first race of the day here on Sunday. There's a bit more cloud over the circuit now. You can see it in the background of this lovely shot of the Iveco SE-Way pace truck. It's definitely not the perfectly blue skies that we had to start the day. It was definitely sun cream weather, especially if you're British. But it's still very, very warm at the moment, and that's going to be a real deciding factor in the lifespan of these tyres. Don't forget that if they are in good enough condition, the tyres do get sent back to the Goodyear factory and they get retreaded, like the tyres that I spoke about earlier today on Tim Frost's tractor unit, actually, that he travels around Europe with. It's a wonderful, wonderful scheme by Goodyear. Not sure scheme is maybe the right word. That makes it sound a bit sinister, but you know what I mean. It's a wonderful initiative, let's call it, by Goodyear to get the tyres retreaded. So the tyres that get used from these race trucks do end up on the road in the haulage industry. It would be very cool as a haulage company owner to know whether your tyres were from race trucks originally or not. It'd be very, very cool to see. Here we go then. They head round to turn 13 behind the Iveco SE-Way pace truck. And once again we have a head-to-head at the front of the order. Norbert Kish alongside Jochen Hahn. Jochen had a really good start in take 1 earlier on. We'll see whether he can get the same this time round. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez hanging back from the train slightly here. I'm not quite sure if that's by some sort of order or whether it's something that he's doing on purpose to maybe come into the pit lane at the end of this, but he's definitely hanging further back from the train than Rene Reiner is. Let's see if that comes to anything in just a moment's time. In fact, it does look like he's going to come into the pit lane. He's gone to the outside of the circuit. But for now, we focus on the front of the order. And it's Norbert Kish on the left-hand side of your shot, Jochen Hahn on the right. And for the 3rd time and a bit this weekend, we go green flag racing here at the Slovakia ring. It's another good start by Jochen Hahn. He remains side by side with Norbert Kish all the way down to turn 1. They all get to 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour around the same time. Looks like Louis Riquenco got a good run on John Newell as well. Nearly wheel to wheel there between Jochen and Norby as they get into turn 1. Everybody keeping it tidy this time round. They're all behaving themselves. Nicely done. Louis Riquenco decides to throw up a bit of dust. Runs a little bit wide, a bit over exuberant there from Louis. He's going to lose a couple of positions as a result. I think he's actually going to drop right to the back of the pack. Yeah, down to 13th position. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is in the pit lane, unfortunately, so clearly some sort of trouble with the truck, despite having that warm-up lap. It's been long enough for him to at least pick up on the fact there was something not quite right. Sasha Lenz looking to the inside of Jochen Hahn as they go up over the crest of the hill. As they head into turn 3, it all looks like a bit of a stalemate inside the top 5. Bradley Smith trying to get around the outside of Antonio Albacete. Doesn't make it work this time round. A little bit of contact, I think, there between Steffi Halm and Mark Taylor just behind it. Just had a glance out of the window and saw some smoke between the two of them. Mark wanting to get ahead of Steffi and go after that chrome race lead that Bradley is holding at the minute. But Norbert Kish, nice tidy opening sector. Keeps it lovely and clean through turn 6. You can see a lot of that dust on the inside being kicked up there. There was a GT and TCR race between our two sessions, and a lot of the cars there were kicking up a lot of the dust. But into turn 8 they go. Nice and tidy. Look at that. Everybody single file on the exit using the runoff area on the right. And again, this is another corner where the dust gets kicked up here, turn 9. Sasha Lenz has had a good start. He's gotten clear of Antonio Albacete. Antonio maybe been affected slightly by the battle with Bradley. He has to go into defensive mode rather than going in for attack. Stefan Faas is right up behind Luke Garrett and John Newell there. Mark Taylor just ahead as well. So 4 of the Chrome drivers right together. A bit of a gap behind them. And Clement Hecker side by side with Rene Reinert there. Rene's gone down the inside into the hairpin and manages to get the job done. And up over the crest of the hill he goes. And now into turn 13 once more. Mark Taylor there definitely had contact with Steffi Halm. There's a little bit of the bodywork just flapping around on that left rear. Those wheel arches are designed to absorb a lot of the energy if there is any contact and then pop away if needs be. It's very often the case that you'll see them sort of flapping up in the air. In fact, at the moment, I think actually Mark's wheel arch has come off around the final corner, because as he went past the commentary box here, I didn't see one stuck to that truck, so maybe it's just popped off as he's gotten up to speed. But after the first lap, it's Norbert Kish leading Jochen Hahn by 1.5 seconds. Great first lap by Norby. Sasha Lenz holding on to 3rd place at the moment, then Antonio Albacete 4th. Bradley Smith holding 5th place at the minute and the Chrome lead, very importantly. I think this will be, if Bradley finishes there, his first Chrome win of the season. Yeah, he's only had 1 Chrome podium so far. He's had an 8th place in the first race of the season. He's had a disqualification, a DNF, a did not start, and then the only other 2 results he's had are a 6th and a 2nd. So considering Bradley's pace this season, he's definitely not had the results to match. So we'll keep our fingers crossed for him, of course, with no British bias whatsoever, that he has a clean afternoon here. You can see, though, the difference in the conditions already. It's a lot more flat out there now than it being the bright, searing sunshine that we've had through most of the weekend. There is Clement Hecker under attack now from Louis Requenco. Louis looking very confident in that Mercedes. He's just hoping that it continues to behave itself from one session to the next. We've got 5 or 6 trucks right together there, and you can see, look, Stefan Faas all over the back of Luke Garrett. In fact, more than all over the back of him. He goes down the inside into turn 8. Tries to make the move down there. Luke gives him plenty of room on the inside. Stefan runs a little bit wide on the exit. Luke using all of the road. Manages to get a good enough run now. Does he want to be on the inside of turn 9? I'm going to tell you, the answer is no. You really don't want to be on the inside there because you get squeezed to a really tight line. But look, when you're on the outside line, you have to compromise quite a lot of your apex speed to make sure that you can keep the truck under control. And Stefan Faas is nice and late on the brakes down the inside there. These guys both fans of the numbers 2 and 4, it seems, as well. And Stefan, just cuts across the nose, and Luke says, not on my nose, sunshine. Gives him a little bit of a push through turn 11. He says, you can't do that, I'm still here. It's hardly like a big black and green racing truck is a subtle machine to miss in your wing mirrors. And they're getting very friendly, as you do within a family. The One Truck Family documentary is available now on YouTube. And if you've got a good spare hour in your day, we recommend that you go and watch that to learn more about the championship and listen to my dulcet tones. It's a very, very good watch, and I think it does a fantastic job of showing the people and the spirit behind this championship that my girlfriend gets sick of me going on about. Stefan Faas and Luke Garrett then have changed positions. Stefan Faas 9th position, Luke Garrett now down to 10th. And pulling over very suddenly to the left-hand side is Jochen Hahn. Jochen Hahn stops on the left-hand side into the end of the pit lane. And is that the result of more engine issues? He did say that he thought he'd fixed it for qualifying, but the Iveco pulls over to the left-hand side, and that will be his race done, I imagine. Because even if he gets it going again now, it's going to be difficult to catch that much of a gap up to anybody within the point scoring positions. So big drama for the championship. And Jochen Hahn, he's pulled it over, and he's done the right thing there. That is experience talking there from Jochen Hahn. He's pulled over right where there's a gap in the fence where the marshals can get to the vehicle, and he can safely reverse it in. That's really, really quick thinking by Jochen. All of the drivers are told that if they get the opportunity to move the vehicle over and out of the way, they aim for one of the orange bits of the barrier, and they can at least park it behind there, and then there's no need to throw an additional yellow flag or stop the race or anything like that. It's really quick thinking. And I always tell people how quick Jochen Hahn's wit is, and usually it's because he's made some sort of silly joke at me, but that is, again, there showing you just how quick thinking he is to get that done. Hats off to him. But it's a real shame to see that, because Jochen was going really well when it was working. Interesting little thing to note there on Sascha Lenz as we look at a closer up shot of his truck is that his windscreen banner seems to be peeling from the bottom up. It's not good for the NWT branding there. Steffi, giving a bit of a push to Bradley Smith there, saying hurry up sunshine out of the corner. Mark Taylor will be happy to see a bit of that, because it'll give him confidence that he can potentially get involved in this scrap and try and take that chrome lead off Bradley. John Newell isn't too far away either. But a big shake-up. 2 DNFs in a row this will be for Jochen Hahn. A massive change to proceedings. And it'll be a good chance for Sascha Lenz. I mean, if he finishes in second place here, he will soar into second place in the championship. And I know that after such a difficult campaign last year, Sascha will be grinning beyond belief with second place in the standings. It's Antonio Albacete third at the moment. Looks like there's a little bit of damage on Antonio's truck as well, actually. I think the front right has had a little piece of bodywork slightly come away. And there is Rene Reinert chasing down Luke Garrett. I spoke to Luke during the autograph session earlier today, and he said he's struggling a little bit for pace. I asked him if it's because he had a different breakfast, and he said no, he's always had the same thing. But right now, Rene is putting the pressure on, and Luke knows from many a season watching that particular truck under the control of Norbert Kish, he knows it's very quick anyway. Rene's doing a good job at showing just how fast those trucks are. But Bradley Smith is the one under attack at the moment from Steffi Halm and Mark Taylor. Rene just showing his nose down the inside there, just to say, look, I am very much still here, but much like I said before, a black and green truck isn't a very subtle machine, and neither is a bright blue one either. Up over the crest of the hill again they go into turn 2. Rene is really filling the mirrors. The truck may be blue, but the effect on the racing itself is very green as we run a 100% renewable HVO diesel. Powers all of our race trucks here in the championship. It's good to have my good mate Patrick back on the graphics here this weekend. It's always a pleasure to work with him. He enjoys the segues. But look at that, Luke trying to clip the apex early, and then he'll try and tuck it in again on the exit. It didn't quite work for him there, though, actually. It seemed like he's having a bit of trouble with mid-corner speed in there. We've got Norbert Kish still leading the way, 4 seconds clear of Sascha Lenz now that that Jochen Hahn-shaped hole has been punched into the top 5. Sascha has got a bit more clear air in front of him to drive into, so he doesn't need to worry too much. Steffi kicking up a bit of dust on the inside there, really cutting it fine on the inside of turn 6. And again, later on the brakes, catching up to Bradley very nicely in the braking zone, but not able to quite get the run off the corner that the MAN got there, actually. Steffi seemed to drop a little bit of space. And there's the move a bit further back. Look, Rene Reinert side by side with Luke Garrett. He finally goes down the inside on the exit of turn 8, manages to get the run off the corner, and through turn 9 he should get the job done. Maybe not. Luke is showing a lot of resilience here. Can he go any later on the brakes? I remember one of the most important things that Rene said after getting this truck from Norbert Kish was the braking confidence it gives you is just unbelievable. And there you go, he's got it done into turn 10. One of the heaviest braking zones on the circuit. Luke is going to stick with him as best he can, but I imagine Rene now, with the pace that he's got, will start to break away slightly. Here's the camera down at turn 13. Sascha Lenz still ahead of Antonio Albacete. Bradley Smith still ahead of Steffi Halm. Then we have Mark Taylor next up. John Newell and Stefan Faas, the next pairing. Then Rene Reinert and Luke Garrett right together as well. Some interesting performances so far in this third race of the weekend, and obviously this is the time where the panel will start to pick their drivers for the Goodyear Wingfoot Award, which will be able to be voted on throughout the 4th and final race of the weekend. It's certainly going to be interesting to see who gets chosen for that, because it's been such an up and down weekend for so many of the teams. Very intrigued. But But René Reinert is making steady progress at the moment. He's up to 9th place. And obviously, it's important here. If he can do what he did yesterday and get up into 8th position ahead of Stefan Faas, then for the second day running, he'll have started from the back of the grid and ended up on reverse grid pole position. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gap between Stefan Faas and René Reinert. It's 3.3 seconds right now, so it's not a colossal gap. But with just 3 laps left to go, he's going to really need to step on it. So is Bradley Smith as well if he wants to defend this. But he's up into 4th position now. That will surely be his best ever result in the championship. It's going to be a great one to take a chrome win if he can hold on, and also just miss out on an overall podium position. But I think that will be a lot more representative of Bradley's pace compared to the results we've seen so far this season that have been affected by penalties and a lack of reliability in certain sectors. John Newell under attack here from Stefan Faas. I spoke to all the drivers during the autograph session, but mainly spoke to Stefan about the fact that this Freightliner really goes well round here. I asked him if it was simply down to the centre of gravity, and he said yes, definitely. It's that type of truck that really suits it, but no, it's not too good when the centre of gravity is tipped into the back of the truck in front, and that does put René Reinert not up 1 place, but 2 places, and now Luke Garrett's going to go through, and he's going to go down the inside. He's going to gain 8th position, and that's going to now mean that he will be on reverse grid pole position. If it finishes like this anyway, there's still quite a way to go. But that contact is completely unnecessary. Stefan wanted to go for a late braking manoeuvre down the inside. John wanted to close the door, and, well, it was quite a conflict of interests, and now it has been noted by the race control. Or by race control, I should say, not the race control. Depends how Michael wants me to address him, I guess. But René Reinert then up into 7th place. Luke Garrett up into 8th position. Stefan Faas now 9th. So he's the one that now needs to gain a place if he wants to get near the front of that reverse grid. But I'm not sure how the stewards will view that one. Whether it was a door being closed by John or whether it was too late a move from Stefan, that's up to them. That's their job, not mine. I can just speculate. That's what I'm paid to do. But now he's already on the back of Luke Garrett, as we saw earlier in the day. He's already overtaken Luke once, so he definitely wants to try and do it again. But now we have 12 trucks running in this race, and it's still Norbert Kish leading the way. He's got 4.1 seconds back to Sasha Lenz. Antonio Albacete still in 3rd. He'll be looking for another podium position. I'm just looking now. He's had 2 podiums so far this season, both of them coming at Misano. And the incident between John and Stefan is now under investigation. For Sasha Lenz, this will be his 4th podium of the season if he finishes there, and it will put him into 2nd place in the championship fight. Still a long way to go this season. It feels like we've already done so much this year. It's been such a packed start to the championship, but this is only the second half of the 2nd race meeting. It's incredible how quickly it's all come around. And there you go, a 5-second time penalty for Stefan Faas for causing a collision. It seems like it didn't take very long to determine who was at fault for that one, quite frankly. As, looked like Luke Garrett was going really deep into turn 6 there. He almost kissed the gravel on the outside. And when you're running wide into a corner like turn 6, once you clip that gravel and you go straight on, you have to pay to get back into the circuit because you'll be a long, long way off. But right now, he's having to push as hard as he can to try and defend from Stefan Faas. He does know that, realistically, he could finish 5 seconds behind Stefan as long as he's still ahead of Louis Requenco, and he will still get reverse grid pole position because he'll be classified in 8th place after Stefan's penalty. But he doesn't want to do that. He's a racing driver. He doesn't want to sit behind a truck and just try and play to the penalty. He wants to stay in front on the road and prove that that's what he can do. And why wouldn't he? There is Norbert Kish heading down into turn 13 once more. Last time round he did a 2:44.8. And earlier on in the race he was doing 2:42s. So clearly the conditions have changed and he's managing the pace at the moment. Another reminder there that you can watch our One Truck Family documentary. It's available now on YouTube, and it is an absolutely wonderful watch. Even though I knew how it was going to be done and that I presented it, I was very excited to see the final piece come together, and the guys at Vega have done an absolutely amazing job. Everyone involved has put together a wonderful piece of TV. Sascha Lenz is under pressure here from Antonio Albacete. He's been closing in a bit by bit here, a couple of tenths per lap, and he's starting to really get under the wings of Sascha Lenz. There's only 9/10 of a second between the two of them right now. I wonder how that will be as we go on to the 7th lap of 8 here at the Slovakia ring. And again, you can see the conditions very, very different to how they were once Louise and I got onto the grid. But this is the battle to keep our eyes on here. Stefan Fast needs to get past Luke Garrett and then 5 seconds up the road if he wants that 8th position. It's not looking too likely at the moment unless there's a major mistake or an overtaking opportunity. There is Norbert Kirsch at the front of the order in the beautiful Baloo Jr. doing a great job. I remember when they first unveiled that new livery on the truck. It's just absolutely stunning. They've had some great looking trucks over the last couple of years, but the current livery that they have is beautiful. He makes his way nice and cleanly out of turn 6 into 7. He's actually lost a little bit of time to Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacete. He was 0.2 of a second slower than Sascha on that previous lap. But like I say, he's just managing the pace at the moment. He's not pushing too hard, he's not overdoing it. He's just holding the lead. He's doing what he needs to do to take the race victory. He's not pushing the truck too much. He's not pushing to open that gap up any further. And it still looks fast, doesn't it, when they come over that hill into the braking zone, into turn 10. But look at the weight transfer here as they go left to right. It just sits down so cleanly. Clips the penalty marker, a little bit of dust, and then through the left up over the hill. Use a bit of the runoff on the right-hand side, and straighten it up as soon as you can. And as they head now into turn 13 once more, there's just going to be one more lap here in the 7th race of the season of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Sascha Lenz holds on to 2nd place and just about holds on to his windscreen banner, while Antonio Albacete holds on to 3rd. He's got a good gap back to Bradley Smith, who is under attack still from Steffi Halm and Mark Taylor, but it's not quite the attack we saw in the early parts of the race. Steffi was saying that the way that the tyres go off around here over these races, especially over the course of a few races, it's very, very quick. We're on to the final lap of the race then. Norbert Kirsch 3.6 seconds clear of Sascha Lenz. He was again another 0.2 of a second slower. He set identical lap time actually to Antonio Albacete, a 2:44.782. Identical to the 1,000th of a second. Around a lap that's nearly 3 minutes. That's actually incredibly impressive. If it's a much shorter lap, if it's sub 1 minute like you see in some forms of motorsport, then it's a bit more likely. But yeah, when you consider that these drivers have 14 corners to deal with over 6 kilometres, the amount of different inputs and speeds and things that they put into those laps to have identical times is quite remarkable. There is John Newell ahead of Clemens Hecker. Looks like John has dropped back a little bit from Requenco since the incident earlier with Stefan Fast. He's not been able to get back up there and put more pace in. I don't know if there was any damage to the back of the truck that may be affecting how he puts the power down or the traction. But unfortunately, it's not been John's race in that regard. He'll be rather upset about the way that that was affected. And obviously that will affect his championship as well. He will most certainly lose the Chrome Championship lead here, as Mark Taylor is only 6 points back, and Bradley is much further back in the competition here, let's say. He's on just 23 points at the moment, is Bradley, to the 62 of John Newell. So he's got a lot to pick up at the moment as Bradley, but he's going to certainly put a good foot forward here in beginning that resurgence in the championship. We know he's got the pace to do it. He's got a fantastic truck underneath him. It's just a case of putting the entire race weekend together. And hopefully Sunday at the Slovakia ring is much better than Saturday was. Seems like Sunday at the moment for Norbert Kirsch is very similar to how Saturday was. He's at the front of the field. He's unchallenged in race number 1 of the day. And it's a similar story to the last couple of seasons here at the Slovakia ring. But that's not to say that the performance of Norbert Kirsch and Reves Racing should ever be overlooked. He is absolutely supreme here at this circuit, and at most circuits we go to as well. But around the final corner to take what will be his 6th race victory of the season. Put your hands together for Norbert Kirsch and Reves Racing. He starts the day off strong with another race win and a lovely, solid performance. He takes the win. Sascha Lenz with 2nd place will go to 2nd in the championship. Antonio Albacete gets a podium as well. He'll be over the moon with that. And it does look like Steffi Halm just beats Bradley Smith to the line in the end. She got the move done on the final lap, but Bradley takes the win in chrome ahead of Mark Taylor. Rene Reinert from the back of the grid to 7th is a great drive. Luke Garrett will finish 8th. That will put him on reverse grid pole position. Stefan Faas will drop behind Louis Requenco based on the penalty. He had a 5-second penalty in that one. Just checking the gap between him and Requenco. Yeah, he was only 0.6 of a second ahead of Requenco, but he was 4.3 seconds clear of John Newell. And in fact, he will drop also behind Clemens Hecker on top of that. So, yeah, Stefan Faas will drop below 3 drivers instead of just the 1 that I expected. So Stefan will be classified in 12th place. Jochen Hahn and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez not finishing that one. I think Jose Eduardo may be considered as not starting because he didn't cross the start-finish line at the beginning of the race. But now we've got 3 races in the books. The panel for the Goodyear Wingfoot Award will be considering their options, I'm sure. There's lots of drives to look at. They'll be messaging frantically and checking who has maybe been under the radar a little bit, who has been right up there. Norbert Kirsch has won his 3rd race of the weekend, his 6th of the year. But Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacete will be absolutely over the moon with more podiums to their name. And that does indeed put Sascha 2nd in the championship, 30 points behind Norbert Kirsch. But it puts him 9 clear of Jochen Hahn. Antonio Albacete will be just 2 points behind Jochen now, with a pair of DNFs from this weekend. And looking in the Chrome class, it'll be Bradley Smith taking the victory from Mark Taylor. And 3rd place in Chrome should go to Luke Garrett, actually, ahead of Louis Requenco. It will as well. Luke Garrett 3rd, Louis Requenco 4th in class. He'll be then ahead of John Newell and Clemens Hecker, with Stefan Faas classified in 7th place in Chrome. So that little incident with John really cost Stefan big there, but at the end of the day, it's part of racing. But Bradley Smith, that is his 1st Chrome win of the season. And he needed that one. That moves him up into 5th place in the Chrome Championship. No, more than that, sorry. My maths is clearly horrific. Mark Taylor is now only 1 point clear in the Chrome Championship from John Newell, so he's only just changed that around. But Bradley is 24 points behind, I believe. In fact, no, 28 points behind in the Chrome Championship. So it's definitely a deficit that you can overcome quite quickly given a good race weekend, but with the consistency of Mark Taylor and John Newell with those podium finishes so far, it's looking like Bradley's got a lot of work on his hands. That is Luke Garrett's 1st Chrome podium of the season as well, after a string of 7ths and 6ths, I should say. He's had a 4th place, and then that very attritional 2nd race at Misano where we had 3 DNFs and a disqualification. It's been another topsy-turvy season for Luke so far. But all the field make their way back in. And after seeing Rene Reinert go past, by the way, I'd like to happily say that he didn't go back out on circuit with that battered right rear wheel. Of course he didn't. They had a replacement put on the truck very quickly as he went into the paddock, and then he went back out on a new right rear. And there is your Goodyear Wingfoot Award nominees for the weekend. Rene Reinert, especially for his drive through the field in that one there, starting from the back of the grid. into third place. Sasha Lenz having a great weekend so far. And Mark Taylor has been absolutely on it with 2 5ths and a 6th overall so far. Norbert Kish has just parked right outside our commentary box window, and he'll be over the moon with another race win. Sasha Lenz in second place and Antonio Albacete in third. There you go, Norbert Kish out of the truck. I'm very happy. A round of applause from the team. Handshakes all round. And another lot of hard work completed for that race. He was definitely looking after the truck into the later stages. So a lot of the work that they would usually do between races will not be so thorough, or not thorough, let's say. They don't need to do as much work. There is Sasha Lenz having a big congratulations from the team. And you can see all the personnel and team down there just congratulating their drivers. And you can see Louise and our wonderful cameraman Pearlie making their way around to try and find some of our drivers to speak to. It seems like, despite them all being in a similar place, they are all very hard to find sometimes. But that was a very, very busy race. Bradley Smith with a big smile on his face. And as you can see, we're about to hear from him. He's with Louise.
Bradley, how are you feeling after that?
Yeah, no, it's good. Nice to finally finish a race this weekend. But you know, that wins for the team. They've worked so hard this weekend. We haven't had the best of luck, gearbox problems. Compressor failed this morning, but they've worked hard. They've got it on track, and it's nice to bring home a win. So it's good to be out the front, battling with Steffi as well. So she don't let you rest for 1 minute.
She had you, didn't she?
She did. And yeah, she had one mistake in turn 8, and she was there, and fair play. It's good racing.
But it's good. I mean, these things happen, don't they? But it's good to see like the optimism. Do you feel quite optimistic for race 4 now?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good for race 4. The truck's handling well. So yeah, see what we can do.
Amazing. Well, Bradley, congratulations. It's good to hear for you. Thank you so much. Cheers. Thank you. There we go. It all comes out in the end good in the end, doesn't it? Chaz, back to you.
Thank you very much, Louise. Great to hear from Bradley. Bless him. Very, very open and honest. It's nice to finally finish a race this weekend, he says. That really tickled all of us here in the office. Norbert Kish then takes the race victory. 3.1 seconds clear of Sasha Lenz. He definitely let it off the gas a little bit towards the end there. Sasha Lenz with another great podium. Antonio Albacete, another podium for him as well. That's his 3rd of the season. We then have Steffi Halm in 4th place, leaving it till the last lap to get past Bradley, but he takes an all-important win in the Chrome class from Mark Taylor. Rene Reiner with a great drive through the field up into 7th place from the back of the grid, especially after being a part of the red flag incident earlier on. Luke Garrett finishes in 8th place ahead of Louis Requenco in 9th, and John Newell completes the top 10 drivers in that one. Clemens Hecker finishes 11th, with Stefan Faas considered 12th after the penalty. You can see there just 23 thousandths of a second. And Jochen Hahn, unfortunately, retiring from that race. We've spoken to him a few times this weekend, but we'll have to have a word and see what the issue was when we get a chance to speak to him. Either way, as you can see, and as I've mentioned, different conditions here at the moment. It looks like we're going to get a lot of cloud pass over, but then it's going to be a bit more clear later in the afternoon, so we'll see how that goes there. This is how the championship looks then after the 7th race of the season. Norbert Kish leads the way by 30 points from Sasha Lenz. Jochen Hahn is now 9 points back from Sasha, with Antonio Albacete currently just 2 points back from them. Steffi Halm in 5th place ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 6th. Lucas Hahn, again, just shows you how good Lucas was at Misano. He's not even here this weekend, and he's still holding 7th in the championship, ahead of Rene Reiner, who's had a bit of a difficult day, but solid drive there. Mark Taylor finds himself 9th ahead of John Newell in 10th place, And behind them, Bradley Smith now on 11 overall championship points. He's got Stefan Kirsch just behind, another driver that's not here this weekend. Then we have Stefan Fass and Luke Garrett, with Louis Requenco and Jonathan Andre completing the point scorers so far this season. It'll be just a moment before the drivers head up to the podium. It's quite the walk from the little Parc Fermé-ish area. And there is confirmation that your Chrome Championship has changed. Our championship leader is now Mark Taylor on 71 points from the 70 of John Newell, so it's still nice and close, all to play for. Stefan Fass in third place on 54 points ahead of Lucas Hahn, with Bradley Smith now up into fifth on 47. Then it's Luke Garrett ahead of Stefan Kirsch and Louis Requenco. He's tied with Clemens Hecker. And then Jonathan Andre currently finds himself at the tail end of the top 10. Now we're going to have a look at some highlights from that race. Look at some of the best pictures from what we had to offer. Obviously the incident at the start of the race, unfortunate, but the drivers managed to get back out of the gravel and back onto the circuit after the red flag had cleared. Everybody was on the grid, but unfortunately for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, the damage would be a little bit too much. He peeled into the pits at the end of the formation lap. It was a good start to the race for Jochen Hahn, with Antonio Albacete and Sasha Lenz right together. Sasha Lenz trying his best to get back up into second position, but it didn't quite work, and Jochen was able to hold it for the time being. Jochen would, though, pull over at the side of the road with some sort of mechanical issue while the battles went on further down the order. Stefan Fass and Luke Garrett getting very friendly in the middle of the order. With Jochen out of the race, it meant that Sasha Lenz was able to move up into second place, and Antonio Albacete was able to move up into third. We then had Bradley Smith alongside Steffi Halm for a lot of the race, the two of them right together. John Newell was in a fight with Stefan Fass until this contact turned John around and would drop him down the order. Stefan would go on to get a 5-second penalty. The incident also allowed through Luke Garrett and René Reinert. René would go up into 7th place and Luke Garrett would finish in 8th, putting him on reverse grid pole position for race number 2. Norbert Kish at the front, though, was absolutely supreme, going faster and faster all the time, until later on in the race he just slowed it down slightly to make sure he looked after the truck to the end, and he won the race ahead of Sasha Lenz and Antonio Albacete. Bradley Smith took his first Chrome victory of the season, and he'll be absolutely over the moon with that. Apologies if my voice at any moment there was a little bit fragmented. It seems like now that the race is over, a lot of the media duties that get done here at the circuit take up a bit of the connection that we have. Antonio Albacete for his 3rd podium of the season. And then Sasha Lenz for his 4th podium of the season. And now listen to the cheer as Norbert Kish makes his way onto the top step. Now we should have the national anthem of Hungary for our winning driver.
Okay, thank you very much, and I would like to ask Miss Emilia.
And there you go, the Hungarian national anthem for Norbert Kish, our race-winning driver for 7th race of the championship.
Congratulations.
And now the trophies handed out. Antonio Albacete for 3rd position. Second place goes to Sasha Lenz He's really pleased with that one. Some big championship points for him. And Norbert Kish gets a massive cheer. And now the champagne and the photos will follow. And now the champagne. Oh no, sorry, the changing of the caps. We have to remember the changing of the caps. And the cheers will continue. Champagne time for all involved. Sasha Lenz sprays the fans over on that side because the fans get to go so close to the drivers. It's always good fun. They love it. Congratulations to Norbert Kish. And our podium finishers will all be very, very happy with that result. Norby tried to throw his hat and give it to some of the fans. Sasha passing the hats over as well. They love a hat. The Goodyear hats, like I say, are very well sought after. I find myself incredibly lucky to have a couple of them as little mementos of working in the championship. The announcer here, by the way, is fantastic. I met him during the autograph session. He's a really lovely guy, very enthusiastic, great to work with. Luke Garrett on the podium in chrome for the first time this season. That will feel really good for Luke. Second place for Mark Taylor, a driver that he's raced against for a long time in the British Championship. And for the first time this season, Bradley Smith takes to the top step of the chrome podium. That will be a big relief for Bradley. It was looking like a difficult start to the championship, and to not get that until now, well, it's been very difficult. Now we should have the British national anthem for all of the podium, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much. Trophies are coming, and I would like to ask also once more Ms. Emilia Markova, General Secretary of Slovak Association of Motorsport.
And now the trophies will be handed out to our top three drivers. Thank you very much indeed, Luke Garrett. Fantastic result. A very, very hard-fought podium for him and the team, and a reverse grid pole position this afternoon. Mark Taylor next up. And Bradley Smith takes his first chrome win of the season. Big smile on his face. It's lovely to see that for the young man. He's such a star, and he really does deserve it. And now the drivers will have their photos taken on the top step all together. And it's champagne time now for the top three. I imagine all of the fans out there will be getting absolutely drenched. And not each other on this occasion. Luke taking the opportunity to spray just about everything. He's had a very difficult time with this new truck. And now they've got it to work. And now it's giving him the pace that he needs. Hopefully the confidence will improve. And again, look, they love a hat here. Fantastic to see. There's some fans of Don't Touch Racing as well, wearing their team gear. But as you can see, a number of Norbert Kish fans. I love the Goodyear hat. I've got one of those actually, the little straw hat. It's very good at keeping the sun off my ever-thinning hair. But we got so much support up there. So many fans of all generations. And now they're doing the team's podium up there while the drivers make their way back down, and we'll hear from Louise in a moment where she will speak to some of our drivers before we round things out. And don't forget, we still have another race coming up today. We still have one more broadcast, and I can't believe we're already at this point of the weekend. It's gone so quickly. Speaking of quickly, I'm going to quickly throw down to Louise, who I'm told is ready for an interview.
So I've not got Antonio. I've got Antonio with me. How are you feeling?
Oh, really good. You know, I mean, third place is always good. You know, it could be better first, but I mean, I think that Norby is always very fast. But yeah, we are happy because the team worked quite a lot last night. We changed some things on the track, and it works a little bit better. So we are happy. We have a good pace. Sometimes I was pushing a little bit of Sasha, but yeah, he also have a good pace. So yeah, happy for the first place. A shame for Jochen that he couldn't finish the race. You know, I think that's not a good way. But yeah, I'm happy. I mean, we see what happened in this second race. Let's hope we can take as much as points as we can.
Absolutely. How are you feeling about the second race? Feeling confident?
Feeling confident, but it's always a lottery, as you know.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Antonio, thank you so much, and congratulations on third there. No problem at all.
Thank you very much.
We have Norbert Kirsch waiting in the wings for us. He's just got another interview. He's a popular guy, you know. He's a popular guy. So he's just doing another interview at the moment. But we're going to grab him and just... There he is. There we go. Got Lola's videos too, haven't you? Popular guy. How are you feeling after that? That seemed like a really nice, clean race for you.
Oh, yeah. Good starts both times. Unfortunate with the red flag, because I was already clear in front, so it's never a good thing, you know, because then we have to do it all over again with Johan very close to me. So it's always a bit disappointing to have a red flag, you know, after the start so soon. But okay, second start was good as well, and then I was clearly in front, and then I see Johan disappearing from the mirror at some point, and then from there, you know, I could take it easy a little bit and then save the tires a bit for the reverse grid race. So, you know, I guess good victory.
Absolutely. And we got the final race of the weekend next. How are you feeling?
You know, optimistic, I guess. You know, it's always fun, you know, the reverse grid race. You know, dangerous, a little too much fun maybe. But, you know, we always enjoy it and try to do the best we can, especially in the Slovakia. You know, a lot of home fans, a lot of Hungarians here cheering for us. So for sure we try to bring them a good show.
Norby, go and enjoy yourself. Thank you so much, and we might see you a bit later on. See you later. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it. As you can hear, the next series has started, but we will be back in just a few. So make sure you stick with us. We've got the next live broadcast coming up for you at the final race of the weekend. Oh, it's all to play for. I can't wait.